When I first removed the windshield, I found rust holes in the upper glass channel. Some of them had previously been filled with Bondo. I started to strip the roof down to bare metal on the front passenger side. The original lead was still in place at the top of the A-pillar, and its condition wasn't too bad. I moved over to the driver's side to repeat the stripping process. There were very poor welds that had never been ground smooth and hammer dents, which I assumed was to allow more Bondo to be used. I bought a large patch panel that covered the entire glass channel and about 9 inches at the front of the roof. I started cutting out the front section of the roof and found that the inner support structure and braces were severely rusted. The further back I cut, the worse it got. The rotted metal seemed to go well past the area that patch would fit. I went back to the passenger side, melted the lead out of the upper joint, exposing the factory seam and the factory welds. Once I cut the roof metal back, I found a lot more rust. I cleaned up that area a little bit, but then I realized the patch panel I had wasn't going to be good enough. Since I already knew I had to replace both quarter panels, and because they fit under the roof at the sail panels, I decided to replace the entire roof. With the roof off, I'd have the opportunity to repair the rotted roof bracing and substructures. As I cleaned off the rust from the upper rails, I found that some of it was just surface rust, and other areas were either heavily pitted or completely rusted through. I melted the factory lead out of the seams at the sail panels so that I could remove all of the old roof metal. I discovered that the drip rail channels would also have to be replaced because a section of them had rotted away. In the sail panel area, I discovered that there were holes in the glass channel which had previously been repaired. Unfortunately, that repair was made by somebody who just kept pushing Bondo into the holes until it hardened. I then repeated the lead removal on the passenger side. Once the entire roof was removed, I decided the best approach would be to remove and replace the front roof brace and its supporting braces underneath. Before removing it, I welded some square steel tubing across the front at both A-pillars so that they wouldn't move from their original position. I drilled out the spot welds holding the front brace and removed it completely. I then started repairing the bad metal on the passenger side roof frame where it meets the A-pillar. I cut out the bad metal, used a wire wheel on what I could, and treated the pitted rust with Osphone. I made a patch, welded it in, and ground the weld smooth, then replaced the inside upper corner brace. I moved over to the driver's side, which needed a lot more work. I started by removing the bad metal from the front of the side brace. This exposed even more rust in that area of the A-pillar extension. I tried cleaning the rust away, but the metal was too far gone. I welded another piece of square steel tubing between the A-pillar and the sail panel. I made a patch and welded it in to repair the A-pillar extension, and then another patch to repair the roof side brace and welded those in place. The welds were ground smooth and I removed the side window brace I'd put in. I welded in a new upper corner brace on the driver's side. I fit the replacement front brace and welded it in place. After grinding all the welds smooth, I removed the temporary bracing I had put in. I finished removing all of the surface rust from the rest of the inner roof structure and then painted it with a rust encapsulator. I then sprayed the entire structure with epoxy primer. I started fitting the roof. I had to make some modifications at the rear upper corners so that the curve would match the profile of the stainless steel window moldings. Before the final installation of the roof, I applied sound deadening insulation to the underside. I used the materials and the methods that was taught by Juby Mays of Amazing Metalworks, and it turned out perfect. I welded the roof in place using a combination of plug welds in the front and spot welds along the rear window channels and in the drip rail channels. At the sail panels, I used stitch welds along the seams, similar to how they were done at the factory. I covered the joints with fiberglass reinforced body filler to provide a strong watertight surface. I repeated this on the other side and then sprayed epoxy primer over the sail panels, drip rails, and glass channels so that everything would be protected until I can get the whole car sprayed in epoxy. Although it was a lot of work, in the end I'm glad that I ended up replacing the roof. Otherwise, I would never have known how bad the inner roof support really was, and it would never have been repaired. Thanks for watching.